Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Okay, so there seems to be a bit of an issue with my channel. I'm gonna try and get hold of Team YouTube. In the meantime, can you try, if you're not getting notifications, can you try unsubscribing and then resubscribing and pressing the bell for all notifications, and we can see if that works. I also have an issue with my comments being deleted, even to the point that comments come up, and if I go back to read it again, it'll be gone. Now, I am very much aware that people have accused me of deleting comments, which I haven't. Nah, ain't got time for that. And honestly, some of the comments can be quite funny. Like, so sad. May as well laugh at them than cry about them. And I ain't worried about someone on the other side of the keyboard, let me tell you. Anyways, everything I say in this video is my opinion, mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. With that being said, let's do this. Bit of an interesting one today. As most of you probably aware by now, I hope that you've all seen it. If not, do let me know and I will link it. I will pin it to the top comments. The Dr. Phil with Summerwell's parents. I was getting it right with the first time, but oh well. I'm still sick, so bear with me a little. Anyways, now I know there are a lot of people out there right now who are not happy with Dr. Phil. And why are they not happy? Because they expected Dr. Phil to be accusing them of this, that and the other, ripping them a new one, and he didn't, because he believes them. Now I will go into the one thing that was said about Candus, and that was that she got extremely emotional at the mentioning of the cornbread mafia. Now, what Dr. Phil said was this was either fear or guilt. And I'm going to go ahead and say both, but not for the reasons you think. Let me explain. The words cornbread mafia clearly terrified Candus. Now, I would relate that to telling a child that the boogeyman is going to come and get you. If you're cruel enough to say to your child the boogeyman's going to come and get you, see what the reaction is. I'd recommend not doing it though, because it's kind of cruel. And you're not going to get a good reaction, I promise you. They're going to burst out crying because they're going to be afraid. Why is the boogeyman coming for me? But that was what Candus's reaction was. Now let me explain the guilt part. On the day Summer went missing, she was being cared for by her mother. And on her mother's watch, she went missing. That woman is tearing herself apart with guilt. Literally tearing herself apart with guilt. Because on her watch, she went missing. Can you imagine it? My daughter fell and bumped her head the other day. I didn't get to her in time to stop her. I felt riddled with guilt. I kept her with me in my bed for 2 nights. You can ask my husband. Didn't want her out of my sight. I didn't want her to go to school, but my darling daughter woke up in the morning and was like, school, 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 school. All excited to go and see her teacher because she loves her teacher. Both of my kids really, really enjoy school and learning, which I am ever so grateful, let me tell you. Because if I had to take my kids to the school gates and they broke down crying like some do every morning, I couldn't take them. I would have to keep them on with me because I would be tearing myself apart with guilt. It is part and parcel of being a parent. My son has only ever had one sort of serious injury, and that was because he fell in a park and he cut just above his eye. I blamed myself for that. My daughter has had 3. When she was a baby, she fell out of her cot trying to climb out and cut her head open and had to have it glued shut. I blamed myself. She never went in a cot again. I took that cot down and I put her in a bed. And she's been there since. Then she had another accident and cut her eye open. I had to make a decision. This was at the height of COVID. I phoned the hospital. I phoned the emergency department. I explained my circumstances. And I asked them what the risk was of coming to the hospital. What they told me was they were 2 separate waiting areas. But they couldn't guarantee that we wouldn't be near someone with COVID. Thankfully, it's healed beautifully, and you would never know it was there, because I weren't going to risk my child getting COVID. And that is why I think both. She is ripping herself apart on the inside. Candus doesn't look like the kind of person to me that cries publicly. She doesn't look like she allows people to see her true feelings. She wouldn't be the first person or the last. Doesn't mean they're not feeling. There are a lot of people upset with Dr. Phil because they thought that he was going to accuse them of being guilty and he was going to prove they were guilty. I'm not going to go through the hundreds and thousands of comments that have been made on 10-hour live streams, 5-hour live streams. On both parts of the Dr. Phil show, that Thursday and Friday, there's one person who has 15 hours worth of live stream. 15 hours. Just on the Dr. Phil show. Tell me that's not insane. Then I came across a comment that I had to bring up. I had to. And it's the only comment I'm going to bring up, because they're all just ridiculous. Apparently Candus was giving Dr. Phil the dead eye. Somebody needs to stop watching true crimes and leave them behind for a little while, because they're seriously becoming overwhelmed by them. Don Wells was giving dupers delight. Now I know where that was picked up from. That was picked up during the Chris Watts case. And now everybody is using it. At every given opportunity, they are using dupers delight. And it's a joke. Don and Candus don't look like the type of people who show their emotions. Now, they did speak briefly about the boys, and Don said that because he's taken up drinking again and it was dangerous for the kids to be at the house, he thought it was a good idea for the children to go live somewhere else. He also said that Candus disagreed with her. Sorry. That Candus disagreed with him and was extremely angry towards him about it. I completely understand. Both of them wanted what was best for their children, but both of them were thinking in different directions. And both of them are probably terrified of what could have happened. Their little girl has gone missing. And no matter what anybody says, the behaviour panel, Dr. Phil, still lying. Dr. Phil said that he didn't think that Candus or Don had done anything to harm Summer. Nothing at all. And if you go back and you watch where they're talking about the cornbread mafia, you will see Dr. Phil say it's either fear or guilt. Determining which one it is another matter. But that is where he went with it. And as I said, as a mother, I would say both. If my child went missing, I would probably do everything to numb out that pain. Drink, drugs, whatever it took. To stop feeling anything. I couldn't imagine going to bed and not knowing where my children are. I couldn't imagine what is going through Candus's head when she thinks about her little girl. When she wonders what she's doing. Is she safe? Is she being hurt? Is she happy? Has she forgotten about me and having loads of fun? If I imagine my child going missing, these are the things I think I would ask myself over and over and over again. Is she scared? Does she need her daddy? And you look at when Dr. Phil asks, is Summer a mommy's girl or a daddy's girl? Candus almost smiles. And there's pride as she says she's a daddy's girl. Can you imagine being separated from your child for as long as they've been separated from Summer? Can you imagine wondering where your daughter is? Is she safe? Is she happy? Is she being hurt? What are they doing to her? If I find them and I lay my hands on them, and then make sure they suffer. That is what would be going through my head if it was my child missing. Just the thought of being my child, it makes me want to cry. Stop with the hate. Stop with the attacks. Sit back and imagine it was you, a child. Because I'm telling you, you would do anything to numb that pain. I know that I would, because being without my children would be the worst pain in the world. And if you can sit there and say these things, they're good actors, they're good at this, they're good at that. No, their parents who are lost. Everything has been taken away from them. They lost their little girl and then their boys were taken. If Don Wild wasn't all over YouTube, how many people would still be talking about this right now? Because half you wouldn't. You'd have forgotten about the day of summer by now. Think about the damage that what you're saying does to people who are already in so much pain. Stop for a moment, just one moment, and say, what if this was me? And don't tell me it couldn't be you. It could be any one of you. It could even be me. And I watch for my kids like a hawk. My kids are my life. They're my strength. Stop taking your imaginations to the darkest places and think about what you're saying. How this would affect other people. How it would affect you if it was you in their position. And I'm just going to leave you here now. And I'm going to say have a great night. Please don't forget to unsubscribe, resubscribe and hit that bell. I'm going to contact YouTube and see what can be done. Hopefully, it's an issue that can be fixed. Have a great night and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.